Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
A warm welcome to all. Today we will be discussing what are smart cities and their global and Indian perspective. The contents that we will be covering today are evolution of the idea of the smart cities, the definition and the conceptualization of smart cities theoretization, smart city mission in India, then we will be discussing about the Digital India program, and we will conclude with discussion on barriers to the smart cities growth in the Indian perspective. The idea of smart city is not a novel creation of the 20th century itself. Rather, it has evolved through time and space. It has its roots planted in the initial conceptualization of the town planning notion of garden cities that was derived from Ebenezer Howard's Garden Cities of Tomorrow. According to Hugel, a century after the garden cities of Letchworth and Welland, we have now stepped into the age of the smart city, which is now an adaptable and transitional version of the garden cities of the yesteryears. It is in its modern form. Smart city has its inception in the information technology company, that is International Business Machines IBM Corporation, credited to its CEO Samuel J. Pamisano. According to Kumar, smart cities came to be discussed as a new generation of acknowledged economic investment, and this tardily evolved into the present connotation of what we now term as the smart cities. Scholars have established that continuous migration to the cities has given rise to 54% of the world population to confine over 4% of the terrestrial surface. As predicted by the United Nations, 6.5 billion of the world population will be living in the cities by 2050. According to Hayat, in his article, Smart Cities, a Global Perspective, this continuous migration over the year has made cities densely populated and congested, as almost 54% of the population of the world is confined about 4% of the terrestrial surface. Further, the global urban population is posed to rise to 70% by 2050. In the Indian context, the United Nations has predicted that the number of people living in India's towns and cities will almost double by 814 million by 2050. Further, cities are also considered as the engines of economic growth, accounting for 80% of the global gross domestic product, or the GDP. In this context, smart cities are considered the sustainable solution for harboring the rising cityscape. Given the background, the definition of the term smart city is ambiguous due to its variable nature, differing from country to country. This variability depends on the geographical condition, ecosystem, resource availability, and major challenges being faced. However, according to Cohen, smart cities use information and communication technology to be more intelligent and efficient in the use of resources, resulting in the cost and energy saving, improved service delivery and quality of life, and reduced environmental footprint, all supporting innovation and the low carbon economy. Smart cities have seen an explosion in the writings with rising technological advancement as well as the constant escalation of urbanization. Some of the examples of the smart cities are Singapore, Songdo, Amsterdam, Santander, Chicago, Rio de Janeiro, San Francisco and Auckland. One of the most debated aspect of smart city is that of developing an universal definition. However, the definition of smart city is always evolving over a period of time. According to Giffinger and others, regional competitiveness, transport, ICT economies, natural resource, human and social capital, quality of life and participation of citizens in the governance of the cities categorize a city as a smart city. Some further formulated the definition of the smart city as concern it to connecting the physical infrastructure, the IT infrastructure, the social infrastructure and the business infrastructure to leverage the collective intelligence of the city, as Harrison puts it. To explain the idea, Tavo Nam and Teresa Pardo, in a comparatively recent and a comprehensive study, stated certain fundamental elements of a smart city which comprise of the technological factor, like comprising of the physical infrastructure, smart, mobile and virtual technologies along with digital networks, institutional factors which comprise of the governance policy and regulation, and the human factors such as the human infrastructure and the social capital. According to Pellicer, a scheme was proposed by the Center of Regional Science at the Vienna University of Technology in the publication Ranking of European Medium Size Cities. Under this, certain aspects that make the concept of smart cities have been proposed, and they are: first, the smart economy, which is competitiveness, like which focuses on the aspects of innovative spirit, economic image and trademark, entrepreneurship, productivity, flexibility of labor market, international embeddedness and ability to transform. The second is the smart governance, which this aspect basically is concerned with public participation through decision making, public and social services, political strategies and perspective, and the transparent governance. The third consists of the smart people or the social and human capital. Well, like sustainable cities require human capital for its growth, like the level of qualification, affinity to lifelong learning, social and ethical plurality, flexibility, creativity, and participation in public life are all essential elements under this aspect. The fourth comprises of the smart mobility. Since transport is vital even though they do not support a sustainable system like the climate change or the local emission or noise, congestion and accidents. That is why new transport technologies and management system of urban traffic are being researched by the smart cities to bring about more sustainability. The fifth element is the smart environment. In this context, aspects of energy efficiency and resource management plays an important role. These attributes help manage pollution, environmental protection, and give rise to sustainable resource management. The sixth is the smart living. The new smart city application to improve the citizen quality of life are cultural facilities, health conditions, individual safety, housing quality, educational facilities, tourist attractivity, and social cohesion. These are all the concerns that arise from services that support a cultural agenda alongside cater to the aspects of education and health as well. Neroti and others had delineated a taxonomy of some particular domains in which the concept can be applied somewhat universally. These include the form of 4 groups of contextual condition that have key importance on the resource and the needs of investing in smart cities, which they claim can summarize the relevance of the development of the smart cities globally. These include, first, the structural factors including the size and the demographic density. The second is the economic development, then comes the technological development, and lastly the environment friendly policies. When these were analyzed over 70 cities of the world, the following 6 domains evolved to be of relevance, including natural resources and energy, transportation and mobility, building, living, government and economy and people. Hard domains of Neroti which directly influence the sustainability such as buildings, energy grid, natural resources, energy and water management, waste management, environment, transport, mobility, and logistics are given more value over the soft domains such as education, policy, social inclusion, and measures of e-governance, making a largely technical inclination of the effects of the smart cities. For Kominos, smart cities can be depicted as multi-layer edifice, and while these layers are common among all smart cities, their components tend to differ accordingly. He constructed the three layers as the interaction or the city layer, an interface or the smart environment layer, and an information or the knowledge layer. The city layer here comprises the population and its knowledge based interaction with the infrastructure. The interface layer consists of the real time function of the e-services, broadband networks, and the application, while the knowledge and the information layer connotes to the institution involved in the knowledge flows and research and innovation, which Kominos describes as the critical factors of institutional thickness, social capital for collaboration, trust, and knowledge spillovers within the city. According to Tan Igit Khan, there has been a stage-wise division of cities which are given as first generation to the fourth generation cities, in alliance with the time and technological processes to bring in the universal categorization between the smart cities. Basically, they are the first generation cities, which are termed as the intelligent cities by Kominos, that simply cover the times of initial knowledge and innovation trajectories in the economy and the evolution of the World Wide Web. The second generation smart cities, which were considered the extension of the first during the late 2000s, with sensor and the Internet of Things devices inculcated into urban informatics according to Tagelak. The third generation smart cities are termed as the responsive cities according to Goldsmith and Crawford, which facilitate the role of community participation in engaging citizens in bridging the gap of sustainability. Hence, as stated by Idiglankar and others, smart cities of the present are far away from achieving the high pedestal of the fourth generation aspect without an anthropocentric urban turnaround. Thus, over the 3 decades, smart cities theorization has transitioned from being specific to being generalized in accordance with some common factors. Now, let us contextualize the smart cities in the Indian context. India is moving towards creating 100 smart cities through its smart city mission. The Smart City Mission was initiated in India in 2015 as the government initiative. The Ministry of Urban Development, Government of India, has defined the smart cities as follows. In the imagination of any city dweller in India, the picture of a smart city contains a wish list of infrastructure and services that describes his or her level of aspiration. There are 4 pillars of the smart city comprehensively, like the institutional, physical, social, and economic infrastructure. According to Sarveshwar Praharaj, the mission hence aims to drive economic growth and improve the quality of life for people in 100 selected cities by enabling local development and harnessing technology as a means to create smart solutions to the citizens. The core aspects given as the smart solution hence includes the e-governance and citizen services, waste management, water management, energy management, and urban mobility and others. According to Holeskar, the evolution of Indian smart cities took a turn that can be based on financial, technocratic, and governance capacities. Smart cities in India are largely concerned with both private and public interest while using the language of the smart city in order to build privately owned and governed cities on greenfield sites, often in the special economic zones or the SEZs. Such private sector oriented evolution of the Indian smart cities has its roots in the program like the Mega City Scheme 1993, the JNNURM 2005, the Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor, a project of 2006, Investment Reason, and the Special Economic Zones or the SEZs of 2006. These programs basically laid the foundation of the entrepreneurial nature of the Smart City Mission and the Digital India program. The strategic component of area-based development in the Smart City Mission includes cities improvement in the form of retrofitting, city renewal or redevelopment, and the city extension in the form of greenfield development. Additionally, a pan-city initiative in which smart solutions are included cover a large section of the concerned smart cities. Retrofitting considers the modification of an existing built-up area based on smart city objective, making it efficient and livable, covering an area of more than 500 acres. In the case of smart city renewal, in the form of redevelopment, the replacement of existing built-up environment takes place with enhanced infrastructure. Redevelopment covers an area of more than 50 acres which identified by the urban local bodies or the ULBs in consultation with the citizens. Greenfield development, on the other hand, introduces smart solution in the vacant areas of more than 250 acres using innovative planning as well as land pooling or reconstruction. These occur around cities to support the expanding population. Pan-city development emphasizes application of selected smart solution applied to the already existing city-wide infrastructure such as in the transportation and automation sectors or the waste water recycling, smart metering processes within the water management systems within the smart cities. The Indian scenario encompasses studies on the digital divide rising from initial stages of the IT boom in India. Some very initial works include discussion on the infrastructural bottlenecks, the different social implications of the divide, and the multiple opinions and probable solutions or that could be provided to bridge the divide. According to Singh, some of the programs and policies undertaken at both the rural and the urban level to reduce their expanding gaps include the Gyan Doot, the Card or E-Seva project, the Gramin Sanchar Sevak Digital Library project, National Science Digital Library, and Vidya Bahini digital mobile libraries and library network and the community information centers. With a vision to transform India into a digitally empowered society and knowledge economy. It incorporates multiple government ministries and departments where its overall coordination is considered to be done by the Department of Electronics and Information Technology. The estimated cost of the project is around 1,13,000 crores. The Digital India Advisory Group is chaired by the Cabinet Secretary and monitored by the Prime Minister and his office. There are 9 pillars to the Digital India program which we will discuss briefly. The first one comprises of the broadband highways, like the broadband for all rural areas, broadband for urban areas, national information infrastructure which aims to integrate the NKN and NOPN. The second is the universal access to the mobile connectivity which aims to provide internet connectivity through the mobile phones within the FY 2000, the year 2014 to 18. The third one is public internet access program, like post offices to be considered as the multi-service centers which will function as the pillars. The fourth one is the e-governance, reforming the government through information and technology, like reforming government business processes with improved transaction and the electronic database. The fifth one that comprises the pillar of the Digital India program is the e-Kranti or the electronic delivery of the services, which basically include the e-education, e-health, e-planning, for e-security or the e-financial inclusion and e-justice. The sixth one includes the information for all, like government's proactive involvement to inform and include citizens through the mgov in and facilitate the communication is something that covers under or comes under this. The seventh one is the electronic manufacturing, like under this pillar or the focus areas which includes are the set-top boxes, the mobiles, consumers and medicals, electronic, a smart card, micro ATMs, and IT for jobs is the next one. For example, here the pillar comprises of the IT training for jobs in rural and the urban areas. And the ninth pillar to Digital India program is considered to be the early harvest program. Here IT platforms will be created for messaging, to be e-greeting or biometric attendance and government greeting messages. So these are the 9 pillars of the Digital India program and their functions that aims at building up the Digital India. Barriers in governance, like these comprises a lack of cooperation and coordination between the city's operational network, unclear IT management vision, political instability, lack of trust between the governed and the government, poor private public participation, lack of development, a common information system model. Economic barriers, these basically include the high IT infrastructure and the intelligence deficit, lack of competitiveness, cost of IT training and skill development, global economy volatility, higher operational and maintenance cost. The next includes the social barrier. These comprises a lack of involvement of citizens, low awareness level of the community, geographical diversification problems and degree of inequality. The technological barriers basically include the lack of technological knowledge among the planners, lack of access to the technology, privacy and security issues, system failures issues, integration and convergence issues across IT network, and the poor data availability and scalability. The next comprises of the environmental barriers. These comprise of the lack in ecological view in behavior, growing population problems, lack of sustainability consideration, carbon emission effect and degradation of the resources. The next consists of the legal and the ethical barriers. These include the cultural issues, lacking standardization, issues of openness of data, lack of transparency and liability, lack of regulatory norms, policies and directions. These are responsible for the lacks that are visible in the growth of Indian smart cities across. Having covered the smart city context, we will discuss other attributes that play an essential role in an urban context, which is the social interaction, and this concept will be addressed next lectures. Thank you for listening and have a great day ahead.